It's Kindo, and today we're back with another Tuesday tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be like the, I guess you'd call it like the staggered lip roll or the zero lip roll, like this. So this lip roll is very tricky. Shout out to Zero. I want to say it was Zero versus Inertia way back in the day when it was the beatbox rap battles on YouTube. But yeah, I remember that channel. I used to watch all the battles, and I remember hearing this and I want to say it was against Inertia, but I just remember he did it against someone, and I was like, what is that? The texture of this lip roll to me is like one of my favorites. Very tricky, like I said, to understand at first, but once you figure out this technique and get the breathing down, piece of cake, and you can control it and get like a bunch of different stuff with it. But yeah, so shout out to Zero. I want to say I'm doing this the right way. This is just kind of how I learned it over the years. I ended up doing it at LA battles, and it hit like crazy hard on stage, and I was like, okay, this is one of my favorite lip rolls now. So big shout out to Zero for the inspiration for this, and yeah, let me teach you guys this. There's three main pieces of it that you really need to have down to make this lip roll a lot easier for you. The first thing I would say is just having an 808/ sub bass lip roll, because well, that's the sound you're going to be using for this. The second thing I would say is really make sure you have nice control over the lip roll. Like I said, you want to be able to have really good control over this, because you're going to have to control your lungs and your breath on this staggered lip roll. The other big main component of this lip roll, like I said, is I guess you would call it like an inward stutter breath. If I show you the lip roll, I'm not tonguing the notes. You know how if you do like the ballsy, you're going like, with your tongue, you're going like ta 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 ta. This is not, I'm not going, I'm not going like, this is literally my breath going, and I know this sounds super weird, but like, practice this. Breathe in. Now imagine taking it really short. You're taking this like little tiny breath, right? This is gonna sound weird, but if you try to like tighten your throat and you try to breathe in, you're gonna get like you get like a little tightness thing. That tightness spot, where you're getting that, breathe is, I know this sounds weird, but try to breathe like in that spot where you're feeling that, like try to breathe through that, because if you can stutter on that. If you just take the away and you with the breath, you can see what I'm saying? It's a really weird, tricky thing. It sounds super silly if you don't add the lip roll with it. It sounds ridiculous, honestly. Like you would never like like you would never do, you know what I mean? So it feels super weird. You're probably gonna be really awkward. If people are watching you practice, they're gonna be like, okay, like it's gonna be a weird one. This is how I practiced it, and this is when I learned it in high school. This is back in 2015, and this is like right before the LA battles. So I was in class like I couldn't do it. I was trying. I was like, like everyone was like, "Are you good?" It's super tricky, but this is the main thing. So it sounds silly, but really work this like stuttering inward breath. It's a really tricky technique. Start everything slow, because you want to have that good technique. Speed's gonna come along the way. So if you can't like right off the bat, like I wasn't able to either. I was getting super lightheaded off of this one too. So like this one took a long time. You know, maybe you can't like start it just maybe you can get, okay, cool, maybe I can do two of them, so da 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 da, or you can da 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 da, speed it up, so da 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 da. Try to work in the control of this. That's really gonna help with this lip roll. It's just a very tricky technique. It's very uncommon to just hit that right off the bat, unless you have like crazy lung control already, which is awesome if you do. When I first learned it, I was not just like, it was like two of them maybe, if I was lucky. I was like kinda, and like that was pretty much, that was literally like that was like as much lung capacity as I could take. Like I would do it and go like it was barely there. That's like the main tip, like I said, is really work this breathing. That's the tricky part. Like I said, learning Sub bass lip rolls, also tricky. But if you have them, sweet. So then this is the tricky part. If you need to learn both, then yes, 2 tricky parts. One last tip for you guys before I end this video. Make sure you're not tightening too much. I just remember I would go to do sub bass and go to hit this, and when I would go to do it, I would tighten too much. And I wouldn't hit a zipper, not over tighten where I would, but there's a spot there before it turns into a zipper, and trying to breathe in on that spot, it would block. And I literally, like, I could feel myself trying to breathe in, but it's like I couldn't breathe in. Like, I could feel that block, and I was like, dude, this is annoying. And I get it. I learned over time, like, you don't have to, just because this hits like that doesn't mean you have to hit these as tight. You can actually kind of just without the with it, right? So you learn the control. Once I had that control, because you hear the way the sound, you can hear there's no like, there's nothing hard with it. It's all that breath is da 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 da, and that's what's guiding. It's smooth. The lip roll, if there was no breath, it's literally going. That's all it's doing. It's just with it, you're. Sorry, it's a lot of breath. But really make sure, like I said, keep it, like really work that sub bass lip roll first, and then once you get that, kind of, I don't want you guys to have soft, quiet lip rolls, don't get me wrong, but really work kind of like your dynamics, or work how loud your lip roll can and can't be. You know, try to work on the, and also try to just work on, you know what I mean? Try to work on both, because sometimes you're gonna have to do really heavy stuff on the mic and or something. With this one, like I said, the lighter you can get it's gonna allow more breath because there's no blockage, and you can get more breath in there, and I can get that nice control, because it's like all I'm really worrying about is that trying to get the biggest breath that I can get while hitting that stutter, hitting that same technique, and then keeping this light. So yes, you're kind of you're multitasking on this technique for sure. It's a very tricky lip roll, like I said at the beginning. Big shout out to Zero. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have any questions, always leave a comment. I got you guys. Or new Instagram. I got hacked on Instagram. So Kindo Beats, the one that's like 6,000 something followers, I think. I don't know, maybe it went down. I haven't checked it. But no more. Look up Kindo Beatbox. But yeah, I know a lot of you guys are always messaging me, asking me for advice, or sending me voice audios like, hey Kindo, am I doing this right? I feel terrible, because I feel like there's a ton of you guys that are still hitting up Kindo Beats right now, and I haven't really made a big announcement besides on the new Instagram. And shout out to everyone who shared that on Instagram. Thank you guys. But if you guys need help with anything, new Instagram, just wanted to put that out there. I'll put the link in the description below. I'll catch you guys on the next tutorial.